Welcome to ConciergeQ Conversations with Chantal Westerman.
Hello, I'm Chantal Westerman, and welcome to ConciergeQ, the online travel magazine where you'll find the best travel information and all you want to know about wherever you're going. And one of the many ways we do that is right here with something we call the ConciergeQ Conversation. Today, we're talking to Dick Springs, a good friend of mine, and I'm so happy to share him with you. Please remember, by the way, you can follow along at ConciergeQ.com. And for our folks and friends over there at Everyday Opera, please follow along at EverydayOpera.com. And the Wood River Sustainability Center, which we'll be talking about today, you can find on Facebook. Let me tell you a little bit about Dick Springs. He's a very, very familiar face here in the Wood River Valley in Sun Valley, Idaho, I might mention. He's one of those guys who you can see a mile away just because of his smile. And one of the things he tells us, every time he runs into anybody, he says, here's what my job is, to make you healthier, happier, and be in better harmony with the earth. He does all that with his project called the Wood River Sustainability Center. And with that, I welcome my friend Dick. Good morning.
Good morning, Chantal.
So glad to be talking to you.
And you too.
So for people who don't know what the Wood River Sustainability Center is, and I'm going to mention again, it's in Sun Valley, Idaho, because we have people listening all over the world. What is the Sustainability Center?
Well, it's a year-round indoor farmers market. Where we live here at 5,000 feet, we have a very short growing season. And we have farmers markets, but they last for 2 or 3 months during the course of the summer. So we thought we need to make this local food available to our valley on a year-round basis. So we've created this indoor farmers market that runs year-round.
What would we find there?
Well, we have all kinds of locally produced grass-finished meats. We have fresh eggs. We have produce in season, and then we take the produce in our commercial kitchen. We preserve it by canning it, by lactic fermentation, by drying, so that we end up with local produce that's available in the wintertime when it can't be fresh.
So that's the healthy part for sure, because I've tasted those eggs and those lettuces. They're absolutely amazing. What about the happy part? You always tell us you do this and you'll be happier.
Well, you're happier for a few reasons. One, you're interacting with your community when you buy local food, and your dollar is staying in the community, and it makes the community healthier. Also, when you eat your local food, you are going to be healthier, and if you're healthier, you are going to be happier because you're going to have more energy, you can accomplish more, you end up with more confidence in yourself because you can just do so much more when you have the good nutrition to fuel your life.
One of the things that you talk about is the human footprint. Is that what you call it?
Carbon footprint.
Carbon footprint. The carbon footprint that we make on Mother Earth.
Well, a simple example is when you go to the grocery store, to a supermarket, the average product there has traveled 1,400 or 1,500 miles to get there. When you buy food from a local farmer, that same food, more nutritious, may have traveled only 50 miles. So you have saved tons of fuel by buying your food locally rather than buying something which has been transported that great distance.
How many times have people come up to you, Dick, and said, your eggs are so good?
Well, our eggs are one of our featured products, and we've recreated egg money for a lot of little farmers in our area. What makes the eggs so much better is that the chickens have access to grass. And any animal, chicken laying an egg, chicken to be eaten, beef, pork, when it has access to grass and is finished on grass, has 7 times more beta-carotene, 3 times more vitamin E, 2/3 more vitamin A, 3 times more omega-3 fatty acids, 1/3 less cholesterol, and 1/4 less saturated fat. These products, like these eggs, aren't even in the same food group with an egg that you buy in a supermarket.
I love when I buy your eggs, and I encourage people who come to the Wood River Valley to check out the Sustainability Center because it's so much fun to buy a dozen eggs where there's still hay on them, there's still grass, and they're still just warm sometimes. It's amazing. That's fresh.
It's very fresh. And one of the interesting things about eggs is that you don't have to wash them in order to, and you really don't want to wash them in order to maintain their freshness. You'll notice in Europe, eggs are sold in farmers market and stores just sitting out, not being refrigerated the way we're told to do in this country. Well, an egg, when it's laid, has a protective coating on it. Mm-hmm. When we wash the egg thoroughly, and a lot of eggs commercially are washed with bleach water, we wash that protective coating off, and then we have to refrigerate the egg. If we just scrape the stuff off and wash the egg just before we're going to use it instead of well ahead of time, the egg remains much fresher.
So tell me more about the carbon footprint in terms of things like organic food costing more, because it seems to me, honestly, they do. Am I right?
You're right. It's not so much organic as it is local. Local food is produced in small quantities by small farmers. They don't have the economy of scale that the large farmers have, and so things just naturally have to cost more in order for them to make a living or even make a small profit on what they're producing. This will change. Right now, for instance, heads of lettuce are transported from the Central Valley of California to here or even to New York City. When gas goes to $6 a gallon, $8 a gallon, that will no longer be feasible. At that point, that head of lettuce, which is less expensive today, will become more expensive, if not even prohibitive from doing. And at that point, local food will be the best buy. It's always the best buy in terms of nutrition. If we valued food today by nutritional value rather than by pounds or by units, your local organically grown food would actually be less expensive on a nutritional basis than the food we get. But even in a traditional sense, where the California lettuce is less expensive today, sometime in the not too distant future it will become more expensive due to transportation costs.
I have to say that you're very popular with the ladies in the Wood River Valley, despite the fact that you're married to the fabulous Melinda Springs. One of the reasons you're popular is because you're the hockey coach for the girls' team.
Well, one of the girls' teams. There are 3 ladies' teams in the Valley. There are the Sunsets, who are dynamite players and very good. Then there's what we call the B-type player, who are just less than that. And then I coach the C team, which are a lot of beginner players or players who aren't particularly skilled.
What's the age group? Excuse me interrupting you, but
okay.
What's the age group of people on that team?
Well, it runs from about 25 to about 60.
Wow.
It is so much fun. 2 years ago, we had a lady, Donna Doan, who was turning, Donna, I'm sorry to give it away, but turning 56 years old, and she was coming out to learn to skate and to play hockey for the first time in her life. I mean, when you have that kind of moxie, who wouldn't want to help them try to achieve their goals?
Exactly. And you're the one who does that.
Well, I help coach the team, and Jeremy Freiberger helps coach the team, and it's a lot of fun.
We have quite a professional team, really, here in the Wood River Valley, the Suns.
The Sun Valley Suns play most every weekend here during the winter time. In years past, the Suns were owned by George Gunn, who now owns, or at that time owned, the Minnesota Wild, and now owns the San Jose Sharks. And he would occasionally find some neat young player up in Canada and hide them on the Suns until draft day or getting them going. The Suns is a part of the winter community here, and going to a Suns game on Friday night or Saturday night in Sun Valley is always a memorable experience. And they play teams from around the country. They come from the East Coast. They come from Canada. Everyone loves to come to Sun Valley for another team, because it's such a wonderful place to visit. And they get to come here for the weekend and ski in the day and go out and play hockey at night.
And have you ever seen more enthusiastic audiences than the audiences cheering on the Sun Valley Suns?
Well, occasionally they get a little too enthusiastic and have to be curtailed slightly. But yes, a visiting team here generally goes away with the impression that they've walked into a hornet's nest.
One of the things that you talk about is the plans for the future of what you'd like to do with the Wood River Sustainability Center. What's one of your future dreams that you've yet to accomplish?
Well, we try to work on developing community. And one thing we're going to start now is a time bank.
A time bank? What's a time bank?
Well, a time bank is a bank where instead of banking dollars, you bank hours. And really replaces an old-time barter system where people can exchange hours. In other words, that contribute some kind of service or some kind of work to somebody, and then they will bank a one-time dollar hour. And it can be exchanged, and then it gets exchanged around the community.
Let me see if I get this straight. One of the things I'm really good at, because I'm around horses all the time, is mucking barns. I can muck a stable as fast as anybody else. Let's say I go muck somebody's stable. I clean out 3 stables, and it takes me 2 hours. So I put 2 hours in the time bank.
That's correct. You put 2 hours in the time bank. Now you need somebody to help you with your taxes. So maybe there's an accountant that's a member of the time bank, and he donates 2 hours of tax time to help you with your taxes. And it just, all of this gets exchanged around, and we take cash out of the system and just do it with people's talents and services.
That's a wonderful idea. I look forward to that. Let me know when I can contribute to the time bank. As I look at your queue, one of the questions, one of your answers actually, that struck me is the question, what is the most creative, spiritual, or emotional place in Sun Valley? And you said it will be the newly renovated rodeo grounds. What's so special and spiritual about that for you?
Well, for me, I spent most of my adult life as a cattle rancher. And so there's a certain synergy with rodeo. And the rodeo grounds are historical here in the town of Hailey. The refurbishing of them, I think, will make the rodeo grounds really the community center for this town, and in many respects for the entire Wood River Valley. On a little more selfish note, one of the new things that will be at the rodeo grounds is an indoor hockey rink, and I still play ice hockey every Sunday night. So, of course, having a rink will be very, very helpful and wonderful for me personally.
Your favorite outdoor activity in Sun Valley? I think that's probably the hardest question for most people on the queue because there's so many wonderful things to do.
Absolutely. I mean, we all live here because of the fabulous physical environment in which we live. Probably my favorite thing to do is to go fishing. And I love to access high mountain streams that are close by, and some of my best friends are local fishing guides, and we just all have a good time doing it.
I think you've got the attention of a lot of people listening. Talk a little bit more of the different kinds of fishing you can do here in Sun Valley, Idaho.
Well, you can go up into the in high mountains and you can find brook trout, which is what I personally like to target because you're allowed to keep 25 brook trout a day according to the according to the regulations from Fish and Game. And I love to eat fish, so I do that. We have the Wood River Valley, we have the Wood River, and we have Silver Creek, which are world-renowned fisheries for rainbow trout and brown trout. And they are fabulous settings and beautiful places to fish. And you can have a wonderful day's fishing and then go to a fabulous restaurant, some of which are serving local foods now, like Perry's Restaurant in Ketchum or Raspberry's Restaurant in Hailey, and have a wonderful fishing experience all the way around.
Raspberry's Restaurant in Hailey, that's a great, great place for lunch. How could we possibly describe to people listening to this how great their lunches are? They're so different every day.
I don't know. Mamie is very interested in using as much local produce as she can in her restaurant, and she's just very creative. And when you use local things, you have different things coming in each day. You don't always know what's coming. A farmer will show up with arugula today, but he might show up with myzuma tomorrow. Mm-hmm. So you immediately start working on some things that are a little different. Like you say, it's a great place to go.
It sure is. I love living here. I expected to come here and just visit, and I'm still here. I still can't quite get it in me to pack and get out of here, and I don't think I ever will. It's probably because I get to go to your market in the morning and then Mamie's lunch, so I'm great. How did you describe the people of the Wood River Valley?
Well, the people are very eclectic. You know, most people have come to the Wood River Valley from some other place. And our age is reasonably advanced in the valley, where we'd like to see some differences there. But most people have come having done things elsewhere and having accomplishments and experiences elsewhere. And they bring all of that here. And because there isn't an entrenched generational town with third and fourth generation families that hold all the power, people are very interested in getting to meet each other and making new friendships. And so you find it fairly easy to bond, because other people are looking for the same kind of community experience that you are.
I leave you with this final question, and it's interesting because I would not ask just anybody this question, Dick, but I want to ask you, because I want you to share this with people listening. When you look at the news and television today, it's all so bad. I was watching a program the other night, and the interviewer said to the guy, "So is it too late for Mother Earth?" And he said, "Yes, it's too late." And I wonder what your view is of the world today. Do you sit in front of the television ever and say, "Man, we're in bad shape"?
Well, I did at one time, but I don't watch the news on television anymore. I think the news has become sensational, and the news has become how can I titillate you type thing. We don't get news we can really use in our daily lives, so there's really no purpose. Sure, I'm interested in knowing what's going on internationally and nationally, but I don't have the negative thoughts about the future. I see lots of positive things happening, and I wish our media would focus on the positive rather than focusing on the negative, which always is more titillating. I look around my community and I see lots of things happening that are very positive. I see our community college thinking of expanding. I see a beautiful new high school. I see a lot of young people that want to come here to live and raise families. And while it's difficult for them now, I see leadership in this town that is going to make it more attractive for young people. So I'm full of hope for the future, really.
And those words are words that should echo in everybody's minds today. He sees hope for the future, and so do I. Dick, thank you so much for joining us here on ConciergeQ Conversations. We'll have you back many, many times if you'll come back.
Thanks, Chantal. I'll come back anytime.
All right. Thank you so much.
Okay.